Up. Good morning, and welcome to Unity Spiritual Center, Saxe, this June 20, 2021. Happy Father's Day, gentlemen. Happy Father's Day. Please join us in song this morning. You may stand if you like, or remain seated. Yes. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Here let's make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody, get up off your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Let's be seated and take a deep breath together. Breathe in, exhale. Keep breathing in deeply, knowing and affirming as we sang in the song that we are indeed. We are love, we are one big family. We begin to open our hearts and minds, preparing ourselves for this experience together. We prepare ourselves with a beginner's mind, approaching all things new for new insight, new longing, new learnings, new discoveries, new ways to embrace our divinity, new ways to show up in the world as love, peace, joy, and prosperity. We tune out all distractions from the outside world, affirming our oneness with each other here in this room, with everyone hearing the sound of my voice who are watching remotely. There is no time and space and spirit, and we are gathered together in this experience by divine appointment, for there are no accidents. Keep breathing, allowing yourself to drop down into that place where your awareness of the divine is heightened. That wellspring that is peace and joy and love, that inexhaustible supply of good. Continue to breathe. relaxing, opening, preparing. And now we sing together our centering song, Spirit's Prayer.
Loving Spirit dwells in me. This is my divinity. As within, so without. All I need is here and now. Where there's air, let me love. May I have no fear. All the power, all the glory, I surrender, let it be. Loving Spirit dwells in me, now and evermore. Loving Spirit dwells in me. This is my divinity. As within, so without. All I need is here and now. Where there's air, let me love. May I have no fear. All the power, all the glory, I surrender, let it be. Loving Spirit dwells in me, now and evermore.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. And happy Father's Day to everyone out there. And why don't we do the children's blessing? Let's bless all those little beautiful children that we have in this wonderful world. Children of light, we see you guided and directed by an inward spirit that leads you into the path that is right for you. We see you strong and whole. We see you blessed and prospered. We see you courageous and confident. We see you as the spiritually perfect beings you truly are. Children of light, we bless you. And today's inspirational moment from Unity Daily Word is freedom. Okay. I love this. I love the surprises in this place. It's just beautiful. I'm one in Christ with all people, for we are all children of God. I focus on this truth as I pray that all people know freedom. I see the human race as a family occupying the same home, planet Earth. I envision that all families are free to know safety and security, practice their faith with exuberance and openness, and pursue their dreams and goals without obstacles. I behold each member of my human family as I value my own. I affirm the equality and acceptance are replacing I'm sorry. All right, let me try that one more time. I affirm that equality and acceptance are replacing separations and prejudice. I am grateful for peace, cooperation, and understanding that springs from freedom. So let's read the affirmation 3 times, please. I affirm peace, freedom for all people now. I affirm peace and freedom for all people now. I affirm peace and freedom for all people now. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Happy Father's Day to everyone. This one.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm not dismissing you. This is our new setup here. This song is a song that I wrote when I had been in New York for 20 years, and my family had moved here to Texas, and they kept, when I would come and visit, they kept asking, when are you going to move here? And I said, oh, I'm never going to move here from New York. Why would I come to Texas? And so, but eventually I broke down because family became very important. So it's where I started my Unity and Centers for Spiritual Living journey, was here in Texas. And this is a song that I wrote for my family, but also for my Unity and Centers for Spiritual Living family. So sometimes I cry on this song, and I'm starting already, because it's Father's Day, and I've been thinking of my father a lot today. But the song is called Home. We're home right here. We're home with our fathers if they are here or not here. We're home with our mothers if they are here or not here. And when we realize, when we become at home with ourselves, we can be at home anywhere in the world. So part of the reason that I moved back here this second time is because of this community. So if I cry, whatever. We'll cry with you, cry with me. Now when I walk into this room and I look into your eyes, well, somehow I'm not surprised. It's like I've known you all I am home. Oh. Now when I look out on this crowd, and all that I can see is all I've ever dreamed. Looking back at me, the sweetest place I've ever known, a place to rest, to know I'm not alone. With all those years out on my own, well, I finally found, yes, I finally found, I am home. We are home. We are home. We are home. We are home. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. Home. In 1993, in Pilanesberg Park in South Africa, the game wardens noticed that there were young dead rhinos showing up in big numbers. And they weren't sure what was happening. They noticed that the rhinos, their horns were still intact, so they ruled out poachers. And then they noticed that there were puncture wounds in the shoulder and back area and the hind parts of the rhinos. And they really could not figure out what was going on. They decided to set up some they put up cameras and other kinds of detection devices so they could figure out what this was, because there were probably about 40 dead young rhino. And this is a place for conservation and preservation, and so this was devastating to the program, and they needed to figure this out. And what they determined was that the young elephants were killing the rhino, the young males were killing the rhino, which is very, very rare, and it was very disturbing. And they couldn't figure out why it was happening. So they just knew they had to do something. They talked to some experts in other parks, and at this particular time, this park had been open for 10 years. And when they opened the park, they wanted to bring about 2,000 animals to live in this park. They call it rewilding. And they took young adolescent elephants from another park. There were 10 females and 10 males. And they brought them to this new park in Pilanesberg. And They didn't have any adults there. A lot of us know that elephants are communal societies, and they are matriarchal societies. And these young males and females had no older adults in their community. And they determined that the males went into what they call must, which is when they get aggressive and they are ready to mate. And because they had no older males in the park, they did not know how to conduct themselves, and they got highly aggressive, and they had nowhere else to channel their aggression other than at other animals. And so they started attacking the rhino, and they killed many of them. It's extremely, extremely rare because rhino and elephants are together in the wild all the time, but they rarely interact aggressively. So they talked about it, went to the experts and said, what do we do about this? And they said, let's bring in some older elephants that are about 40 years old, have some years on them, and we'll see what happens. So they brought in a male and a couple of females, and immediately when the male was brought into the park, the younger males were attracted to him and ran to him automatically, surrounded him, started walking around. And of course, they're still aggressive, and they don't know this elephant, but they know that he's a mature adult. They know that he's one of them. One of the younger elephants decided to challenge him, because that's what they do. There's a new animal, and he challenged them. And immediately, the older elephant disciplined him, and they had no other problems in the park from the adolescents after that. Everything stopped. There were no more deaths. There were no more attacks. There was no more aggression. All of the young males calmed down because they had a male presence that was dominant, that was also gentle, that was learned, and knew how to deal with them. And it solved the problem immediately. So they realized their first mistake was taking young elephants out of the family circle and depositing them somewhere else. And the other practice years ago, before we knew about elephants what we know now, is that when there was an overpopulation of elephants, and there was at the park where they got these young adolescents and brought them to the other park, that they thought the males were expendable because this was they are matriarchal societies. So they killed off some of the older males. Because there were so many elephants, they were starting to do some massive destruction to the other park. For a while, they thought that male elephants were not as important in the scheme of things because it is a matriarchal society. Males go off by themselves and they roam the forests and the grasslands. But they started to find out that even then, the males group together. Younger ones are always attracted to the big male. And they always find each other, and they travel together, and that's how they learn, how do I conduct myself as a young adolescent elephant? How do I be a male elephant in this world, in my world? How do I know how to conduct myself in the mating season? There was even some evidence that some of the young elephants, before they brought in the older male, were trying to mate with the rhino because they didn't know. But they just knew this animal is comparable to my size, and they're in heat, and they're aggressive, and they don't know how to conduct themselves. They had to be taught by an older male. An instant change in the younger males when the older males showed up. Within minutes, things changed. During that time, Psychology magazine wrote, "This was virtually unheard of anywhere. Elephants and rhinos certainly interact with one another in the world, but it never ends in one of them killing the other. Never." The original plan to populate the park with wildlife was called Operation Genesis, and it involved translocating 6,000 animals into a newly launched reserve. They found out that through the older elephants, life lessons are imparted from adult elephants to calves, and it greatly shapes their behavior, even involuntary behavior of the calves. Without strict and gradual teachings of adult elephants, young male calves grew up to be uncontrollable adolescent ruffians. In fact, they were called the delinquent elephants. They found also that without the presence of the older males, that these young adolescent elephants went into heat 10 to 15 years earlier than normally, because normally they don't go into heat until they're about 28 years old. But they were going into heat at 13 and 14 years old, not knowing how to deal with this because there was no older male present. So this presence of power, of an older male showing up, of something that helped the younger elephants, the calves, know I am safe, I am okay, there's somebody who knows what to do, there's somebody to go to learn from, to be reassured by, to be disciplined by. Apparently, the young elephant who challenged the big male was hit in the stomach by the older male, and all the younger ones were watching. And so they knew, we don't mess with him. We don't mess with him. And after that, there was not one more occurrence, not only of death, but aggression. They all settled down. They all settled down. You know, when I thought of that story, and I thought of this male presence, and the effect it had on those young calves, I thought of our lives, how out of control we get, how misdirected we can be when we forget that there's this power in our lives, that there's this source, and metaphysically, Father is first cause. It is source with a capital S, the place from which all things spring. And it's going back to that source, to that dominant thing in our lives that's always there, that there's always this presence, then we can find our own rest and peace, our own safety, our own place to go when things get crazy. When life gets crazy, when we get crazy. We just have to remember that that presence is there. And maybe it's like the big elephant being dropped in our midst. And then all of a sudden it can drain away. Whatever it is that you're in conflict about, whatever it is that you're unsure about, it was like that for me going home. When I finally moved out, I lived at least 200 miles away from home. And there are times, especially in my 20s and 30s, when life was crazier for me. I didn't have the spirituality, the spiritual confidence that I have now, so my life was chaotic. And often, just on the drive, when I would get in the car to start driving home, I would feel everything start to drain away. Everything would just start to drain away. And as my car went that 10 miles, 20 miles, 50 miles, 100 miles, 150 miles, 200 miles. That presence of my Father chilled things out for me. And often I would forget by the time I got to the front door what was wrong. Whatever it was that was driving me crazy either was not there or it ceased to be an issue. And it's interesting, in that first verse you talk about, when I look into your eyes, my Father had the prettiest light brown eyes. And whenever he saw me, they just danced and his eyes twinkled. And the world was just right then. I always knew that I was loved, that I was treasured, that I was special, that I was Daddy's girl, and everything was all right. And I never had to even talk about the problem because I knew I was carried. I knew that there was something covering me. I knew that there was this presence. And often it was just by looking in his eyes or thinking about him or starting to drive towards him over that 200 miles or get on a plane when I moved here and fly 1,500 miles that everything started to drain away. Everything started to drain away, that male presence. I don't know that we give fathers as much credit as we give mothers. I think about award shows sometimes. It's not unusual for people to get up and they're, "Hi, Mom." I don't think people say, "Hi, Dad," as often. I think Mother's Day can sometimes be so much more of a big deal than Father's Day sometimes. Fathers are so important. That presence is so important in our lives. And Source, Spirit, can make all the difference in our lives if we realize that that's our foundation and that that's what we go back to and that that's what feeds us, that that's what can chill us out when life gets crazy. I was just telling Deborah, and Jan knows this weekend, I've had lots of crazy. I had crazy from Saturday morning, the time I woke up, all day long. Stuff just kept happening. Just kept happening all morning. And Friday night, I was so proud because I had my weekend was in this neat, tight little package. And I had my list of things to do, and I was so proud that I had it all down. And man, somebody pulled that pin and rolled a grenade in my life, waiting for me to, that grenade was rolling towards the bed as I was opening my eyes. When I stepped out of bed, it went poof. And one after the other, things just went, nothing went according to that plan. Nothing. And by about thing number 3, at about 7:30 in the morning, I said, okay. It's going to be different. Decades ago, I would have lost it. There would have been all kinds of language. I'd have been running through the house like hair was on fire. Husband would have been running for cover. Everything. And it would not have been a good day. I'm telling you, the whole day would have been rough. Yeah, yes. But I do know now that spiritual confidence is so important because now I know there's this presence in my life that makes everything right. Because everything's always working out for us, isn't it? Yes. And it is because we have this source. We have this dominant presence in our lives. just like that big male elephant who was literally drop-shipped into this park and chilled out the delinquent elephants, the ruffians. I'm a recovered ruffian. And sometimes I still go there. But I get out of that so quickly now because I do know that there's this source, that there's this first cause of all good, all good. That even though nothing went as planned, I had a beautiful day. That would not have happened 20 years ago. In fact, it probably would have messed up my whole week because I'd have been complaining about that day for 7 days straight and expecting nothing but bad things every single day because that's how my day went. So that's what life is. And I would have been pissed off for days. Right. And I'm feeling self-righteous and everything because look what life did to me. Yeah. But now I know that life with a capital L is all goodness. I know it's that thing that makes all things right. And all things were right even though nothing went according to plan. I know that it's still a good day even though it looks nothing like anything I had set up. And that the grenade that was lovingly thrown into my bedroom, so to speak, is not a thing. It doesn't matter. I just rework my plan. And actually, I just scrapped the plan. So I'm just going to have a day. And I'm going to enjoy it. And it's all good. It's all good. Those elephants knew it was all good when the big male showed up. As soon as he showed up, they ran to him. They had been 10 years without an adult male presence. And when it dropped in, they knew it when they saw it. And there was still the one who was probably me in elephant form, who had to challenge the big male. Because sometimes we still got to find out. Sometimes we still need to, we need affirmation. Are you really in charge? And the big male let him know, I'm in charge. And everybody else said, oh yeah. He's in charge. We just need to know, we need to remember that Spirit is in charge and that we can let it all go because it is all good. But we got to believe, if you don't believe that this presence that is God is all good, if you believe in judgment and if you believe that there is punishment and that something's going to rain down on you if you don't do it right, then that's what your experience of life will be. If you believe in an all-loving God that wants your highest and best all the time, then no matter what life looks like, your life will be good all the time. During the grief support group last Wednesday, we talked about that. How we can be in the midst of our grief and still know I'm good. You can be in the midst of those what we thought were conflicting feelings between sadness and grief. And for many of us, Father's Day brings up grief if our fathers are no longer here in the physical form. And then I can still experience his love and remember the look in his beautiful brown eyes when they saw me and feel the pain of missing him and the glory of loving him and him loving me at the same time. And no, he's not here for me to take to dinner or to lunch and to hug anymore. And I still have him here and here and here. I hear him speak to me. I have him here in my heart. That's the presence, the presence. So when life gets thick and prickly and ugly and rough, remember the big male elephant being deposited in. Remember that there is this force, this power that's got your back 1,000%, no matter what is transpiring. And that as soon as we call it up, we can let go of whatever's happening. And here in unity, we believe that we are one with this presence. And so we get to say, guide me, show me. Give me the words, tell me what to do, show me what to do. How do I be what I need to be in this moment? Affirm your oneness when you're in the midst of sadness, grief, anger, whatever it is you're going through, confusion, frustration. When you've had it up to here with life, call in that presence and let it reign over you. And relax. Relax. Take a deep breath. Let it go. Make a new plan. Make no plan. Take one step. Leaving whatever other steps need to be made known to you in the moment. Oftentimes I just say, what do I do now? What do I do now? What do I say now? It's always there. That presence is always there. And when you forget that it's there, drop ship in the elephant. We just have to remember there's nothing to worry about. As soon as you begin to worry, remind yourself there is nothing to worry about because there is this presence and this power active in my life and in the universe. God, the good, omnipotent, everywhere present. There is nowhere that God is not. So in the midst of whatever you're in, God is there. Whatever it is, whatever it is. The power in the presence. It's real. And it's alive. And it's working through you. It's enabling you to sit in this chair and hear my voice. It brought you here today. Brought me here today. It sang through Robin. It spoke through Deborah earlier in meditation. As we hugged and greeted each other, it spoke and hugged through us to the other. It smiled through you to everyone you greeted today. The power in the presence. Let's take this in a meditation. Breathe in. Breathe in this power and presence. And this power and presence sits waiting for us to acknowledge it. It is literally coursing through your veins, active in every cell of your body, every breath that you take. It's always there. We have just to open our eyes, recognize the presence, affirm it, and sit, embracing it. Call forth its wisdom, its power, its strength. When you think you can endure no more. When you think you have no more energy, no more time, no more patience, no more money, no more ideas. That infinite supply of patience, good health, resources, ideas, strength. That inexhaustible supply is right there. Right there. Ask and you shall receive. Throw open the door. Jesus said, I came that you may have life and have it abundantly. Pray to the Father as I do. Acknowledge your oneness. As you pray, believe that what you have asked, believe that it has manifested in this moment. And what you pray for in the name of love shall be given to you. Let's take a breath together. Breathe in. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Relaxing into that presence. Embracing it. Affirming its power in your life. Knowing that it is there for your use at all times. At all times. In all things. In all ways. Always. 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 Let's take one last deep breath together. Breathe in.
love, power, peace, strength, harmony, unity, and breathe out the same into the lives of everyone here present, everyone hearing my voice, and all around the planet, to every being, every being. And so it is, and so it shall be. Amen. So while we're here in this beingness, this feeling of power and grace, let's lift up the names of those that we want to pray for. For Danielle and for Tony, for Georgette and family, for Cheryl and family, for Evelyn and Doreen, for all those in the grief support group, for all fathers everywhere, for all those who are showing up as fathers in someone's life. So for all these named and those who have not been named in this moment, but who are in our hearts and in our minds, we know that they are whole, perfect, and complete in the same love, the same power. We are one with it, all of us, at the highest and best, is at work in their lives in this very moment and in each moment of their lives. Amen. And so let's take some time to honor our fathers, and we're going to take some time especially right now to honor those who are no longer here in this physical plane with us. Grandfathers, fathers, uncles, those who were fathers to us and may not have given life to us. And so one at a time, let's come up and you can light a candle for the men in your lives who have given you strength, cover, a soft place to fall, direction, mentoring, teaching, a thump on the head when you needed it. Here, I got it. I can do it for you. You're welcome. And for those of you who are watching us from home, if you want to take a moment and bring to your mind's eye your fathers, grandfathers, and those who have given you father-like love and direction. take a deep breath together. So we hold in our hearts our fathers who are no longer here on our physical plane with us. We hold them closely in our hearts. Grateful for their direction, their love, their patience, their guidance, their hard work, their sacrifice. And in this moment, we affirm that they are indeed living in our hearts. They live through us in our DNA. They live through us in our expressions in this world, in the many ways that we are like them. And so we say, thank you, thank you, thank you for the love of a father, for the love of strong men. We just breathe together, holding space for those who are struggling more at this time, who have recently lost their fathers or grandfathers, or that father figure. And we lend them our power and our strength and our peace and our comfort. And so it is, and so it shall be. Amen. And so for the fathers in the room, we have something special for you. He's like, yeah. Can we move this back a little bit? We have something special for you, and first, Jan has something for you.
Our hero. The author is unknown. This world has many heroes. You know many of them by name. It's apparent they gave their best and deserved their fame. But among all of the heroes this world has ever had, there's not one we admire more than our precious Dad. He's more than just a hero. He never looks for praise. He's heroic in his quiet strength and in his caring ways. He may not be famous as those you hear about or see, but he's everything and so much more a hero ought to be. He keeps his word. It's good as gold. On this you can depend. He's honest and he's loyal. We're proud that he's our friend. When we hear about a hero and the special things they've done, it reminds us of our Dad, for he's the greatest one.
And we have a package for each one of you. So we are so grateful for each one of you. We're grateful for the place that you've had in others' lives. And we're grateful for the love and guidance and strength and power that you give this community. We are deeply grateful for each and every one of you. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to everyone who's watching. So, we know that this source is also what brings every resource into our lives. And so we now affirm our celebration of giving together. Let's repeat. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all the good that I am and have, all the good that I give and receive. Amen. Do you want that? Do you need that? No. Okay.
Pete, if you'd like to join me. And let's give thanks to Pete that joins me on these songs.
Yay, Pete!
So one of my most favorite practices that I like to do is gratitude. So this is my gratitude song. Today I saw the sun. I stood out in the rain and watched the eagle fly again. I heard a baby cry and walked right through a storm and felt the wind upon my face. And all the while I could not help but see the life that lives and breathes in you and me. And I'm peaceful, yes, and I'm grateful, and I'm thankful, oh Lord. Yes, I am, and I'm hopeful, yes, and I'm so full, and I'm thankful, oh I am. I hugged an old oak tree, the earth beneath my feet, and saw a shooting star above. I looked into your eyes and touched an open heart and fell into a whole lot of love. And all the while I could not help but see, oh, the life that lives and breathes in you and me. And I'm peaceful, yes, and I'm grateful, and I'm thankful, oh Lord. Yes, I am, and I'm hopeful, yes, and I'm so full, and I'm thankful, oh I am. I am so peaceful, yes, I'm grateful, I'm thankful, oh yes I am. I'm hopeful, yes, and I'm so full, and I'm thankful, oh I am. Yes, I'm thankful, oh I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. So grateful, so thankful. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Oh, yes, I am. So grateful, yes. So peaceful, yes. So hopeful, yes. I'm grateful, I'm grateful, I'm grateful, I'm grateful, I'm grateful, I'm grateful, I'm grateful.
Let's bless our offering. We are deeply grateful for all the time, treasure, and talent that overflows into this community. And and enables us to do the work that we are called to do, spreading a message of peace, love, joy, prosperity, unity, and harmony around the world. And so it is, and so it shall be. Amen. And now our announcements.
Well, we're missing Fred today, and it's impossible to fill his shoes, but I'm going to start out with a joke anyway. So there were two kids laying on gurneys in a hospital waiting to be wheeled into the operating room. And the first kid said to the other one, "What are you here for?" And he said, "Well, I'm here to get my tonsils out, and I'm a little bit nervous about this." And the first kid said, "Oh, no, don't worry about that. I had that done when I was 4. And they put you to sleep, and when you wake up, they bring you Jell-O and ice cream. It's really pretty nice." And the kid said, "Oh, whew, that's a relief. I'm glad to hear that. What are you here for?" The first kid said, "A circumcision." And the other kid said, "Oh, whoa." He said, "I had that done when I was born, and I couldn't walk for a year." Actually, I saw that, and I immediately sent it to Fred because I felt that was a Fred-worthy joke. So, when Kim asked me if I'd do the announcements today, I said, "Do you think that I can say this?" So I had that approved ahead of time. She said, "For this crowd, yeah." Okay, so we do have some announcements. This Saturday is when we're going to go hear the Chicago concert. And there undoubtedly are still tickets available. If you haven't gotten yours yet, go to Ticketmaster.com. We are sitting in the lawn area, so those are the $15 tickets. And please let us know, either Kim or Dia, let us know if you're going to go so that we can try to all get together. All right. All right, and then also next weekend, a week from today, is when we are having the end of life planning seminar here at the center. It'll start after service at 12:30. They are going to provide lunch, so if you are planning to come, please sign up. There's a sign up out here, and if you're watching online but you plan to come to that, then please let us know that you're going to be here so we can have some food for you. And it will be, is it going to be through YouTube or on the
Through the website or on Facebook Live, just like service.
Just like service, that we will have it where you can watch online. Did you want to give a testimony?
Give testimony. So, both of my parents did end-of-life planning, and we talked about all of that. And I would say it was probably 10 or 15 years before that time actually came. And we talked about money, we talked about what they wanted to happen, how they want it to happen, what their service would be like. I knew that they would want a Catholic Mass, but we talked about where we were gonna do that. And then my mother moved here after my father passed away, and she and I had the same conversation because all of our family is buried in New Jersey. And so her first concern was, "Well, I don't want to ask you to have my body shipped to New Jersey." And I said, "Well, is that what you want?" And she said, "Yes." And I said, "Well, I'll make sure that happens." And so we did go through the process of calling the funeral home, the company that handled all of the deaths in my family, my immediate family, and we talked about that process with them. We asked him, "What is it we have to do? And how do we do it in order to make this happen so that my mother's wishes can be fulfilled?" And really, all I had to do was call him, and it just, you know what, it made it easy. My mom was in hospice for 2 weeks before she passed away, and when the time came, all I had to do was make one phone call, and everything was handled. Everything was handled. And the thing that was wonderful is that it allowed me to pay attention to what I was going through at the time, to be able to handle my grief. And even though I knew she was in hospice, for me, it didn't matter that I knew she was heading towards making her transition. It's still hard. Even if you have warning, it's still really hard. And so to know that all I had to do, actually all I had to do was tell the people at hospice to call the funeral home. Everything else was handled. And then as soon as I got to New Jersey, I knew what to do. I gave, the funeral home director had everything he needed. And it just freed me up. Just freed me up. And I think, as others have said, it's one of the greatest gifts you can give your family to do it. So the conversations were not easy, and it's hard to sit and talk with your parents or other loved ones about the end of their lives. It's, my husband and I are talking to each other about what it is we want and trying to figure that out, because you just never know when stuff's going to happen. You don't know. And being prepared enables you to walk that period of initial grief when it's raw and stuff has just happened. You can walk it so much more gracefully. So join us on the 27th, like I said, Facebook Live or on our website, just like you watch service, and it'll be 45 minutes, and Westland Funeral Home is taking care of it. There's absolutely no sales, it's just education only. So give the gift of pre-planning.
Thank you, Kim. We are finally getting to start our in-house concerts, and our very first one is with Robin Hackett. I felt like we were at a concert today with the music. I mean, it was just wonderful, and I was sitting there the whole time thinking, I can't wait to hear a whole concert of this. So that's on July the 10th, and we'll be doing it then the second Saturday of each month thereafter, and we've already got several more the artists planned. Okay, then the very next day after that, on July the 11th, we will be celebrating our 32nd anniversary, and we are finally going to get to resume potlucks. So we will be having potluck, some fun and festivities that day, and we hope that you will join us. There will be a sign-up sheet probably starting next week. Dia, do you think that would be right?
We can do that, yeah.
Yeah. Starting next week, we will have a sign-up sheet for people to sign up as to what sides or desserts or whatever they want to bring. The center is going to be furnishing the meats. So be planning on that. We're looking forward to that.
I think we're going to write the food that's recommended or that we think we want on the board out there. And
Oh, okay.
people put their names on what they want to bring.
Over on by the outside door?
Yeah, what do you call that? Not dry erase board, but.
Cork board, the cork board, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, so that's in the kitchen area, just by the sliding glass patio door, and it'll be there for us to sign up for those suggestions, and then there'll be some lines where you can fill in other
Yeah,
if
so
you
we
want
don't bring
something else.
duplicate things.
Yeah, we don't want to have 15 rices and nothing else.
Hi. I'd like you to repeat the vision and mission statement with me. However, I'd like you to really think about the words to this. So, let's start. We are Unity Spiritual Center Saxe. We are a thriving global community of spiritual seekers transforming lives through love and the expression of our innately divine gifts. Our mission is to inspire spiritual and personal growth through the teachings and demonstration of unity principles toward the realization of living our best lives. Divine wisdom is at work in every area of our lives right now. Everything is always working out for us. The hair on my legs is standing up.
Stand if you like.
In this moment, in this place, I see God in every face. Perfect love we gather
Thank you, everybody, for sharing your Sunday morning with us. It's your love and your presence and your power and energy that makes this the most wonderful place to be on Sunday morning. Have a glorious day and a glorious week. Namaste.